Hey, welcome back to the Nets, your one stop channel for unbiased views, games, analysis, and transfers. Um, Another one sided game in the IPL today, but the surprising part was the teams that are actually in the second half or the bottom half of the table are actually showing that they can beat the big teams as well. Uh, One sided to a certain extent, but what has stood out is Shreyas Iyer, as the tournament has progressed, has actually declined with his decision making as a captain. He was an aggressive captain to begin with, and then as the tournament has gone through, it seems like he has started being a little bit defensive, is overthinking a lot. So from the get-go, won the toss on a dry Dubai pitch where you know that it's a batting paradise. He decides to put SRH in. Sunrisers Hyderabad had made bold decisions. They had making some strong decisions of dropping Bairstow, bringing Williamson back in, and Priyam Garg, who was misfiring, wasn't as consistent. He still is promising. Made way for Riddhiman Saha. So Saha played probably the knock of his lifetime. He was promoted, and today, for once, when we saw that there was a must-win situation, we saw the real David Warner. This was probably the real David Warner innings that we have not seen or we have missed in this IPL so far. But he came back. He came back all guns blazing, and they had absolutely no answers. And in a typical Aussie way, they targeted the best two bowlers of the opposition. That is, that is what makes those kangaroos special. They always try to go for the best, and then everybody else around them falls down. So, with that being said, they were not really worried to take a risk, and luckily for them, it was one of those days where everything that there was hitting was either hitting the middle of the bat or even the mishits were going into the gaps. So 216, and this could have easily been 240. They probably were 20 runs, 20, 30 runs out short. But we do know that Hyderabad is probably the uh, worst finisher when it comes to the last 2 or 3 overs, and Delhi are probably the best ones in pulling things back because of the quality of bowling that they have. But with that being said, they still put a daunting target of 216, and then it was always going to be tough after that, considering Delhi were so limited with their explosive openers, as you may want to say, if you have to say it loud. They were without Prithvi Shaw, which made Rahane come up, and Rahane, I do not think is has his game tuned in for somebody like a 2020 opener when you need 10 runs and over. So he likes sticking in there, and he likes to graft his innings more than have an explosive start. But it starts adding pressure on everybody else. And you saw wickets tumbling, and then for some reason again, Shreyas Iyer decides to push himself further down. Now, one of the things that I feel that in a game like this, and considering the situation that they were in right now, damage control would have been the order of the day. Even if you lose, you make sure that you don't lose by a big margin, just so you can still stick there with the run rate. Considering we know that the last few IPLs have all been with teams that have uh, the teams with the better net run rate have actually managed to go to the next level. So um, I think that is where again DC there was no message sent back, and I had actually thought there would be a massive influence of Ponting in that dressing room, but it doesn't seem like they are playing as a Ricky Ponting would have done in his prime. But that being said, wickets kept falling at regular intervals, and then you had Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant, who doesn't look like the Rishabh Pant that we know of, but they decided to stick it out, and then in the end, it was a big defeat of 88 runs. Now, what it has done is it has given DC a realistic chance of not making the top four. DC has to still play Mumbai, and they have to play RCB. Now, considering Mumbai and RCB go head to head tomorrow, there is a possibility that whoever loses that one is going to come in a lot harder in the next game. So, I am guessing that all these three teams will be winning one each. And in the end, because Mumbai has a decent net run rate, I think Mumbai and RCB are safe. I think the other two are the ones that may be in trouble. Kings 11 are making a case for themselves. They look strong, they look determined, five in a row. So I have a feeling that they will manage to hang on and make the fourth place. I think there is also a possibility that Rajasthan Royals or somebody like an SRH might spring a surprise. Oh well, that's all I have for the IPL side of it. Uh, Strange things happening with the Sri Lankan League, the LPL or the Lankan Premier League. We saw some big names being drafted there last week, and now suddenly we realize that Andre Russell and Faf du Plessis are have decided to back out of LPL and they are going back. Some say that it's because of the England versus South Africa series, limited overs series that's happening in South Africa shortly. So that would be an interesting series. Probably the best team versus the team that has always been there but has dropped out of the top four, top five in the last few years. So it'll be a good tournament considering Graham Smith is the one overseeing their cricketing activities now. So that was about uh, one of, and the other news is Sri Lanka is going to play two test series in South Africa. So that will be an interesting tournament as well. Considering South Africa's recent fortunes with Test cricket, I think Sri Lanka has a good chance to make a point. Both teams are trying to go through a transition phase, so it will be a good tournament to watch. All right, well, that's all that I have. I would request you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like it. Let your friends know. If you don't like it, let me know. I will be more than glad to change the content on this. This is Back to the Nets, and I hope you guys stay healthy, stay safe.